Hello and welcome. In this short session, I'm going to demonstrate the power and flexibility that NetSuite provides with regard to pricing your products and services and applying discounts for your customers. This demo will focus on the following NetSuite pricing functionality. We'll start in the item record and talk about how you can set up multiple price levels, use quantity pricing tiers and schedules, as well as set up item pricing groups. They'll move on to the customer record and show how to assign price levels at a customer record, and define also item group pricing as well as item specific pricing per customer. Then we'll move on to placing an order and show how order discounts and line item discounts can be added very easily to that order. We have our item record, we have an iPad here, and let's focus on the pricing portion of the item record. Here's where we can define any number of unique price levels. So price level can be defined as a percent discount or uplift on a list price, or it can be defined as just a manual price without any relation to the list price. So in this example, we've set up a manual price of $400 for this price level. But if I choose to select my list price, maybe make a change to that, make this $498, then now we'll notice how all these subsequent price levels that are associated to the list price have now been automatically modified. We also have the ability to do multiple pricing quantity tiers. So in this case, maybe we say if we purchase more than 20 iPads, we're going to get a list price discount down to $450, which automatically sets the price level values for the ones that are dependent on list price, as we see here. And then I can add another custom price for my partner pricing, which is manual. So that's how to set up a manual pricing schedule or pricing quantity tier. Now there's also the ability to create predefined quantity pricing schedules. In this case, if I choose then to use a schedule for general electronics pricing schedule, it's going to override what I created before and now set my pricing tier quantities based on the schedule that's been predefined. In this case, 50, 75, 125, and 200. And in that schedule, we also defined a set percent discount to apply to each of those different quantity tiers. And that's going to then modify the list price based on that percent discount, which then in turn modifies the dependent discount levels based on list price. And then also will modify the manual pricing amount by that percent difference across the board. There's also the concept of how to calculate quantity discounts. So we have these quantity schedules and tiers, but we can also choose how to associate multiple items together to create more of an aggregate quantity and apply a discount using, again, more than one item. So in this case, we've got the ability to do our quantity discounts by line quantity, overall item quantity, overall parent quantity, and overall schedule quantity. To get a little more detail on this, we can take a look at the NetSuite help. Line quantity is going to apply according to the quantity included on one single line item. So very straightforward. The overall quantity, item quantity, would be if we have the same item that may be duplicated on multiple lines of an order, then it's going to take the aggregate quantity of all of the same item and use that quantity to define which quantity pricing tier we qualify for. By overall parent quantity, pricing is applied for all items with the same parent item on the transaction. So this is extremely helpful for, especially with matrix items. Say if you're in the apparel industry and you may have a certain style of shirt, that shirt can come in many colors and sizes, but maybe you want to offer your customer quantity discounts regardless of the color and size. You just want to do it by the shirt style. So you can define all the color and sizes of that style and say that's where you're going to be getting your quantity break, not just on each unique price or style and size. And then also by overall schedule quantity, this is saying pricing is applied to all items that use the same pricing schedule that are included on the transaction. So in this case, we've got our item here that says general electronics pricing schedule for the iPad. We're also defining an iPad mini in this demo to also use that same pricing schedule. Now that's an overview. We'll take a look at that in motion when we actually go ahead and create an order for a couple of different items. And then next we have the pricing group. So an item can be defined within a pricing group. In this case, we've got the iPad as part of our general electronics group, and that's going to be used where we can define specific group pricing at the customer level, which we'll go into shortly. Then last but not least, we see here we have multi-currency capabilities in NetSuite. So there's also multi-currency pricing abilities. This I'm looking at US dollars. If I look at Canadian dollars, we can honor the same pricing schedule using a different list price and same quantity tier, same quantity percent. So we're setting the prices ourselves. Or if we look at maybe say the euro, we could leave the pricing blank, and then pricing is defined by the exchange rate, currency exchange rate currently being applied in NetSuite for the euro to the US dollar. So exchange rates can be automatically set on a nightly basis in NetSuite, so fluctuating nightly, or they can be frozen. So depending on how you set up your exchange rates, your pricing can fluctuate daily, or your pricing can be frozen until you change the exchange rate again in the near future. So now that we've defined the pricing at the item level, let's take a look at how pricing can be impacted on a per customer basis. So now we're looking at a customer record for Smith Supplies. And on the financial tab in our demo environment, we've got our ability to define which price level we're going to give to Smith Supplies. In this case, we're giving them a 5% discount level. So every item that they purchase from our catalog, they're going to automatically be getting a 5% discount off of list price. As we go below, though, we can see that we can also honor what's considered group pricing. So we talked about adding items to a group pricing group. In this case, we are honoring a couple of different groups. So if they buy anything from the general electronics group, like we mentioned, the iPad and the iPad mini, they're going to get a 10% discount level off of list price. If they buy anything in the apparel group, they're going to get a 15% discount. So just more flexibility for different ways of pricing per customer per item. And if you want to get even more granular, you can create many different items, add many items to a list for item pricing. In this case, we're saying that if they buy the iPad mini, no matter how many they buy, it's going to be a unit price of $200 for each of those iPad minis. We're giving them a custom price by the item. So to summarize the priority of the item pricing, first NetSuite's going to look and see if there is a specific item price per item. If not, it goes to group pricing, sees if there's any items within pricing groups that have been given special price levels. If not, it goes up to the price level itself. And if a price level isn't given, then the customer is given list price for the item that's added to the order. So now that we've covered how to configure pricing at the item and customer level, let's go ahead and assume the role of a sales rep. We'll put in an order and see this pricing engine in motion. So as a sales rep, I can enter in an opportunity, a quote, a sales order. All those transactions will be honoring the pricing that we've configured. In our example, we'll take a look and we'll just create a sales order. And we'll do that for Smith Supplies. All right, then we'll add an item to our order. We'll add the iPad. And note we have then our discount level that's been given is 10%. It's just part of the general electronics group. And there's our unit price per unit. We're going to put in that we're going to have 60 of these, though. And we'll note that because 60 is greater than our first price tier of 50, we're going to drop that price down even lower because it's going to look at that pricing quantity tier in our pricing schedule that we defined. Next, we'll add the iPad mini. And note how it's, again, honoring the item pricing that we've given this, which is the $200 per unit. but in this case we want to add, when they want to purchase 20 of these. So now I want to add this to the order. The 20 is not going to impact the price for the actual mini, since they're getting a custom item specific price for that. But note that it also did drop down the price of the actual iPad, because what it did was it added the 60 and the 20 because it's part of the same group, the same pricing schedule that we looked at. And it's going to say, okay, now we have an aggregate total of 80. It's going to then go to the next pricing tier of 75 plus units and grab that quantity tier price for the iPad. So that's where we're getting a reduced price for the iPad, and it's still a custom price for the mini. So as a sales professional, entering an order in for a customer, it'd be nearly impossible for me to remember all the pricing rules that apply to all my customers, all the items that they could be purchasing, the quantities that they're buying. But with NetSuite, I don't have to. And I can have the confidence that my customers will get the accurate pricing for all items 100% of the time. So this was an overview of some of the pricing automation available within NetSuite. Next, on the same order here, we'll touch on some of the discount capabilities that are available. So as you see here, we have an order level discount that we can be applying. And we can go ahead and say, for this one, we're going to apply a 10% discount. So note here that the discounts apply at the header level. So it's going to take the entire order as it is now and apply a 10% discount to that. Next, let's add another item to the order. And we'll add a quantity of 10 for this new item. And let's say in this example, though, I'm going to give a specific item discount or line item discount for this cable. So I can go ahead and just add in, I want to give them 25% discount on this one particular item. So I can add a discount item below an item on the order. It automatically applies that discount to the item above. So now I'm giving them their item specific, line item specific discount. Next, while negotiating with the customer, I decide that they should be getting an additional 10% discount on the total of all iPads and iPad minis that have been purchased. So what I could do here is I could say, let's just go ahead and add a subtotal to my order. It's going to subtotal the quantity of the iPad and the iPad mini. And then below the subtotal, I can go ahead and just quickly insert another discount. In this case, maybe I'm going to say 25%. Oh, let's go give them a 10% discount. Giving them a 10% discount on the total of the two iPads, 25% discount on the cable, and an overall 10% discount on everything within the order. So you can see the flexibility with the ease of use to be able to satisfy many different pricing and discount scenarios that may be required for a particular customer in a particular order. So now that the order is complete, I can save and print this. And we'll see a very clear, clean example of a sales order that has all of our discounts defined. As we can see, we have our discount subtotal discount for the iPads, our discount on the cable, as well as our order level discount across the board. In summary, NetSuite provides powerful pricing and discounting functionality that can dramatically decrease your order entry process by eliminating the need to manually reference price books or customer contracts in order to produce an accurate priced order. It also creates greater customer confidence and trust by providing your customers with consistent pricing across all orders, regardless of which sales rep or CSR enters that order. This concludes the demo of NetSuite pricing and discounting. Thank you very much.